We have just under 1,200 pupils, and we're expanding onto a separate site next year to take us to 1,600. So what we classify as a supersized primary. We started out as in the bottom 5% of schools nationally. We are now in the top 6%, and we've been on quite a significant journey in our IT adventures. And I use the term adventures because it is a bit like that. Coming into a school that had no infrastructure, blackboards, buildings that were falling down in the sense of dilapidated, a lack of investment in any form of IT, to where we are now. And we converted to an academy in 2012. We have also now become a multi-academy trust where we take on and sponsor other failing schools. So we've had 3 schools that are joining us. All of these are in category and with very, very similar issues to what we had when we got to Barclay. Developing that strategy, developing the journey of getting, and we're talking RT today, teaching and learning, and integrating that into our schools. And with the schools that are coming on board, we're in a very, very similar situation. So it's about how and what we've done to get to that level. The way the technology is going, the types of technology we're using, the critical thing is starting at your infrastructure. How many points? What is your standard classroom look like? What is the standard offer that you're giving the children within that particular year group? And as we get on the video, you'll see we use a range. We're not pertinent saying that's the only thing that we use, but the first thing for me is making sure that your infrastructure can cope. So part of that is doing full audits, doing full technical specifications, finding out what the school does have, what it doesn't have, but also where are you going? And I think that's the key thing is it's not just, oh, we want RT in our school, or we want tablets, or we want X amount of PCs in each class. It's how do you want to use it, and how's that integrated into your curriculum. For us, yes, we have a specialist RCT teacher. Yes, we use the green screens, animation, programming, robotics. Yes, that might be slightly specialized, but how do we integrate it into geography, history, literacy and numeracy, and so on? And it's about having a plan, starting with infrastructure. Obviously, teaching and learning is the first part. Where do we want to go? Teachers' fear of IT. Support member staff, fear of IT. It's not the children. And it's about how do you integrate that into your school. Because if you bring wholesale change and you just dump it on the guys and say, right, we've got all this kit, how do you use it? It's not going to work. And it's about getting buy-in. It's about drip feeding and showing teachers what's the potential, how it saves them time, how it is fully, how they can use it, and the support that they get. So we ran lots of optional inset sessions, we ran a lot of after-school sessions, and it's about trying to build that confidence to say, hey, if you do use it, this is how many hours you're going to save. This is how you engage those children. And that's a critical factor, and that's always thinking about that before you do anything. Because it's nice to be a head teacher and say, oh, that looks great, let's get it. What's the impact of it? And it's always holding that at the heart, and how am I going to, particularly a school our size, how are we going to roll that out right across the school? The critical thing is, we did a bit of a survey where we were looking at, everyone did the interactive whiteboard, and the word there was interactive. But we did a bit of a survey, and it came across that our teachers were still speaking 80% of the time. And it's an exercise worth trying is, get your teachers or your TA to press the amount of times the teacher talks versus the kids talk. You'll be very, very surprised. You think, oh, we're doing all, engagement, talk partners, all these type of collaboration. So one of the things we've done is we've totally transformed the way we teach. It's very much about focus groups. It's very much about the children that are teacher input, a lot more teacher input, but short, sharp and focused. Bit of teacher input, maximum 5-10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, off you go, let's pull them back in. And it's about creating that independent learning rather than what I'm doing now, stand and deliver.
Efficiency, how we're using the tablet technology to really enhance their understanding of where they are with their learning, what their next steps to learning are, and how they can self-regulate and start to take ownership of their own learning, how they can articulate their targets, how they can contextualise them, how we're involving parents with their learning, how they take their targets home, how parents are getting involved, and really helping those children to kind of begin to take that ownership and to start self-regulating their own learning with their independence, so that they're able to start accessing the resources that they need to push their learning on. Who knows what's going to be there next year? Who knows what's going to be there in 5 years' time? So we're using them to help us in how we move forwards with the tablet technology that we've got at the school. And we're now at a stage where we're integrating tablet technology across all subjects in the curriculum, so that it's embedded and it becomes a part of the DNA that we have within the school, and how it's just integrated across all of those subjects. As Justin mentioned, we still have ICT, we have specialist ICT teachers, children are still learning about robotics and programming, still learning using the green screens and all of those things, but it's how now we're using the tablets that we integrate that into all lessons in the classroom.
But at the moment we don't know what's going to come out next year or the next year. Is Apple going to be around? So it's having a range of devices, but at the same time is also staying ahead of it by always looking at what is coming next, and one, does it have teaching and learning benefits, and two, is it something that will support the children when they go to secondary school, or in some cases when they go into university. And part of our plan for that is always making sure we have funding for any technological advances and factoring that into our 3-year spends or our 5-year spends, and just being aware that there could be something that's going to come out that is revolutionary. I suppose the only message I would say is looking at all the options that are available to you and thinking about how and what the impact of that will be on your children's learning. Thank you for your time. I hope that was useful. Enjoy the rest of your day.